This is a table. But not just any table, no. This is a table made out of Legos. Not Mega Blocks, Legos. Which means that it has been constructed with the best of plastic engineering standards. And because of that, it is with great displeasure that I must flip this table.
Wow. You have to get up, do what they do. But that was insane. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Come on! I make go records, baby. I'm liking this.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hawks Recap. My name's Clay. Thank you for tuning in. Blackhawks have just completed their 45th game of the season, and it is with my great displeasure that I must announce that they have lost at home to the Nashville Predators by a score of 5-2. The Hawks had a golden opportunity during this 4-game homestand to, well, make a push towards the playoffs. They had home games against the Calgary Flames and the Nashville Predators, both of which are just right above the Hawks in the wild card standings. But of course, they lose both games to those opponents, not just, in overtime, but both in regulation, meaning that the Hawks get a total of 0 points against those two foes, which is not a good strategy if you want to make a run for the playoffs. Now, to be fair, after the Hawks dug themselves into quite the hole to start the season, making the playoffs has been, well, a very hopeful proposition ever since. But considering that we're not yet at the All-Star break and you got 2 home games against teams right above you in the standings, that's a great opportunity to make up ground. It's not lost to still make a push. But after these 2 games and losing both of them at home in regulation, getting 0 points, yeah, that's it. They're done. Hawks are not making the playoffs this year. Some may say that has been obvious for a while, but I like to keep out hope for as long as possible, but not anymore. Hawks are done. They will not make the playoffs for the 3rd straight year. And you may ask, well, where are the golf clubs, Clay? Don't you put out golf clubs when they get eliminated? I do. But you also remember that they're not technically eliminated yet. I only put golf clubs out when they are mathematically eliminated. And quite frankly, it is not even mid-January. There is not golfing happening anytime soon. Now, it doesn't really help that the Hawks have played poorly for most of this year, but to tack onto that, the Hawks have also had to deal with injuries. 2 wrongs don't make a right in that case. Having to deal without Seabrook for the rest of the year, which I know it's Seabrook, but he's still a defenseman I'd rather put out there than some other defensemen that we're currently playing. You got Calvin DeHaan, who's out for the rest of the year. You got Andrew Shaw, who's been out with concussion symptoms for quite a while now. I'd be surprised if he comes back this year. You have, Brandon Saad out for, more time than we thought. Like a couple weeks ago, when he got his injury, they thought, okay, he'll be out 3 weeks. It's been like 2 weeks, and they're like, it's not even close right now. So he may be out for quite a bit longer. Then you got Dylan Strome and Robin Lehner out day-to-day. Thankfully, only day-to-day. So they've avoided some major injuries there. And then you have Drake Caggiula, who's been out for quite a while, seemingly forever. He finally got back into the lineup tonight, which is great. But, you can't really expect a whole lot from him after being out for seemingly forever. I mean, he was out so long that people completely forgot that he existed. But I'm happy he's back. But for the Hawks, it might be, it is, in my opinion, a little too late. Now, there's this hockey saying that is out there that I completely agree with, and I think it really pertains to this game tonight. And that's that you cannot win a hockey game in the first period, but you can certainly lose it. And that's pretty much exactly what happened tonight. The Hawks come out flat. They come out turning the puck over. They come out losing pretty much every single puck battle against a team that has a brand new coach who was just fired by the Devils of all teams 2 months ago. A team who is trying to turn their season around. A team that is only a single point above the Blackhawks in the standings, which, by the way, if a team above you in the standings is desperate to turn their season around, you'd think you would be desperate too. Well, apparently the Hawks aren't that desperate. This all leads to the Predators scoring 3 goals in the first period, one by Arvidsson, one by Blackwell, one by Duchesne. Just embarrassing, just pathetic. Hawks down 3-0 going into the second period. The Hawks would have a much better second period, and this is where the box score kind of lies to you. They had 3 less shots in the second period, but it was a much better second period, and they get rewarded in the second period for their better play with Dominic Kubalik scoring a goal, a loose puck from Taves. He picks it up and just rips it by Rinne, and the Hawks have made it a 3-1 game heading into the third period. The third period would be much better from the Hawks as well. Definitely much better third period than the third period against the Flames, which they only had 6 shots on goal during. This third period, they had 14 shots on goal, which is the type of period and type of shot total you want when you're trying to erase a 2-goal deficit. Well, the Hawks get 1 back 5.5 minutes into the third period. DeBrincat on the power play makes a couple of moves, backhands it up and over Rinne to make it 3-2. But don't let that power play goal fool you. The Hawks' power play was absolutely atrocious in this game. The fact that they got a goal on that power play was a miracle. But the Hawks really couldn't do anything after that. The Predators would get 2 empty net goals after that, which would make this a 5-2 final. In fact, the Predators had 2 scorers who had their first career NHL goals in this one. One by Blackwell, which was their second goal in the first period, and one by Pekka Rinne, empty netter in the third. His first career goal. He's played for how long? Over a decade, for sure. Never had a goal. A goalie goal. Pekka Rinne. Yeah. If that isn't a microcosm of Blackhawks season, I don't know what it is. So yeah, the Hawks lost this game in the first period. They certainly tried their best to recover from it, but you can't play 40 minutes. Not against another team who is desperate to turn their season around. It's just not going to go well. As I mentioned, I'm conceding this season. It's January 9th, and I'm throwing in the towel. That sucks to say, but I'm never one to tell you something I don't believe. And I cannot sit here and tell you that I think this team can still make the playoffs anymore. I can't. Not after these last 2 games. If they would have won these 2 games, there's still hope. But when a team like the Hawks have consistently made it to 500 and then promptly pissed it away time after time, that's as big of a sample size as I need to come to this conclusion. Now, the Hawks have done some things better since last year. Goaltending has been better. Penalty kill has been better. But the offense has gotten worse. The defense hasn't improved. And everything coming together that just hasn't led to the results that we were hoping for this season. And we're just barely halfway through the season, and it's become pretty apparent that we're going to fall short of our expectations. And that is a really sucky feeling. Now, if by some miracle the Hawks do make a run and make the playoffs, then I will gladly eat these words. But look, if there's one thing that I hope you've taken from watching me, it's that I don't just tell you things just to tell you things. Like, I don't say things I don't actually believe. I'm not here to misguide anyone. These are my opinions I'm sharing, but opinions that I believe in. If I think there's hope to make the playoffs, I will state that. It might be a small hope, but it's hope. But right now, I don't see it. I don't have that feeling anymore. And I'm not going to sit here and just say they can still make the playoffs when I don't actually believe it. So I hope you understand that it's not necessarily me just being down in the dumps here. It's just I'm trying to share what I actually believe. Does that mean we cannot root for this team to win games? Absolutely not. I want this team to still win games, as many games as possible. These players want to win the games. Players don't tank, by the way, so if you're hoping this team will then tank now, it's not going to happen. Now, they still could possibly lose every single game, but they're not going to actively try and do that, if you get what I'm trying to say. I want to see the Hawks win. I want to hear Chelsea Dagger. But I don't think the Hawks this year, with their play and also the injuries that they have the ability right now to make the playoffs. And that is a disappointment with how we hoped this season would go. And because of that, we're going to see some tough decisions being made this offseason. That would be my prediction. But we're still a ways away from that. We're just barely past the halfway mark of this season. So buckle up. It's going to be a rough little winter/early spring here. And with that, I apologize for the Debbie Downer talk, but I hope you enjoyed watching this episode of Hawks Recap. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate that as always, but most importantly, stay safe, make good decisions, and I'll see you next time.